Welcome to the Hellmouth. Hope everybody's 5x5. This is Major Slayage, Ket Arik, Rewatch, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. My name is Eric, and to my right, your left, my gorgeous, gregarious, good-natured, good-time gal. You know her as half the powerhouse duo that is Kim and Ket Stay Alive, maybe. I know her as my wife and co-host. Give it up for Ketryn Porter.
Thank you, my love. Good. We should probably explain why we're all bedecked.
Yeah, we are teamed up today. So this episode comes out on a Monday. The following Saturday, August the 9th, is the season opener for our beloved Wrexham AFC Red Dragons. First game in the Championship League after 3 back-to-back promotions, which is an EFL record. And it's the first time we've played at this level in decades. We're facing off against Southampton, who was just relegated.
And who are we just talking to?
Your friend Anna.
Oh, right.
Her boyfriend's team is Southampton. So we may have to get some kind of rivalry or wager going on the outcome of this game.
Yeah, so shout out to Simon. We're coming for you.
Yeah.
Guess who else we're coming for? We're also coming for Tom Brady.
Let's go get a fucking win against Wrexham. Those little sucker we're coming for your ass. Ryan Reynolds, McElroy, whatever.
Who's absolutely riding away on the coattails of Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney is how you say the name, Tom. And you could never. Is all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, he co-owns a team in the same league called Birmingham City.
And he's so jealous. Like, he's so jealous.
Well,
it's so embarrassing.
They won the league with a record number of points last season. We came in second, earned promotion, but came in behind them. So
sorry,
I don't
did
think
you say a record number of points or a record number of money?
Points. I don't think Tom Brady's hurting for money. I think he's doing okay.
That was my point, that he bought his points. That's what I said.
Well, that's what everyone else in the league says about our team. So
yeah, but we've got so much more heart and our town's better.
I would agree. We actually, for those of you just joining us, we actually own a home in Wrexham, Wales that we visit several times a year. So we're not just bandwagon jumpers. Well, I guess we kind of are bandwagon jumpers.
I think we're actually like the definition of bandwagon jumpers, and we rode the bandwagon all the way to Wales and backed it up.
Yeah. So anyway.
So we're on the bandwagon, but then the bandwagon got stuck in mud and we were like, you know what? Let's earn our keep and let's get these wheels out of the mud. Yeah. That's how that worked.
This is Ethel. She's also a big Wrexham fan. Anyway, this has been Football Talk with Ket and Arik. Thanks for indulging us there.
Yeah, no marital grievances today, just Tom Brady grievances. So
we are here to talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 2, Episode 7, Lie to Me. What did you think of this one?
I thought it was good. I mean, it's not a banger like Halloween was, but it's not an utter puddle of diarrhea like Ink and Mummy Girl.
Right. I think this is a strong episode. I think we're 3 in a row of good episodes between Reptile Boy, Halloween, and this one. Ethel is coughing.
Bless you, Ethel.
Anytime she changes elevation, she gets a little cough. She's an old girl, but she's doing okay, so don't be alarmed. Yeah, I thought this was a really well-written episode. I love that we get more Spike and Drew. We've got Spike in 2 episodes in a row, which is a sign of good things to come. Again, I don't remember anything that happens in season 2 at all. I haven't seen it in many, many years. So Spike being one of my favorite characters from the later seasons that I am familiar with, very excited at how much time we get to spend with him today. Do you want to do a spell for us?
Sure. So this is a spell that's pretty common in witchcraft. It's called like a tie breaking spell, but not like a tie breaking like in a football game. Like like when you want to cut cords or cut ties from someone or something. For example, I would say this is a very common spell used when you can't get over an ex, or you have a toxic family member that you are feeling really tethered to in an emotional way, and it's difficult to let go.
Trying really hard not to read anything into this.
So I decided that poor Buffy, I'm sure it was difficult to cut ties with, spoiler alert, someone in this episode. Yes. So I thought I would give her a spell to help that emotional break come to fruition.
Talk about what we got here. What are all the pieces?
Yeah. I'm also doing a cord cutting spell for all of the mosquitoes and flies that have taken up residence in our garden. That is specifically what this spell is for today. The mosquitoes and flies can kindly go fuck themselves. So that's what we're doing. So we have 2 blue candles. You can use any candle color you want depending on the correspondence. I chose blue, which is usually tied to a sense of a higher self, a higher power, and intuition, which is definitely something that you would want to call into practice when trying to make these cuts. So what we're going to do is we're going to light both candles and let them burn down however they wish to burn down. Eventually the cord will catch flame and break. And a lot of times there is messaging to be seen in the way the cord burns away or the way the cord is cut. So we will call this one Buffy because she's a little shorter. And this one is, spoiler alert, Ford. And we'll just be able to watch them burn down throughout the episode.
There we go.
All right.
You guys will see if our whole set catches on fire probably before we do. So
yeah,
this
let
could
us
be very exciting.
let us know after it's already burned down. I guess you can make comments in the episode that's uploaded and we'll be dead.
We've got a Patreon. Check it out. It's $5 a month, gets you everything we have to offer. We do a watch along for every episode of Buffy that we watch right before we record our reactions in real time. We also do a mini-sode every week for every episode, starting with season 2, called Trivia Crypt, where we do a baby deep dive into all the behind the scenes and fun facts and anything we discussed that we didn't know the answers to. We also do live watch alongs of Buffy adjacent media, movies and TV shows, things like that. $5.
Yeah, movies I haven't seen but have maybe come up on the podcast, like Basic Instinct, which I hear is a movie that I've never seen.
You hear you've never seen, you've heard that you've seen it twice. You don't recall seeing it.
Oh, right. I don't recall seeing it. That's right. $5 also helps buy teeny tiny little treats and snacks for Ethel while we're recording because she gets lonely. So I ask you, why do you not want Ethel to have snacks? That's weird. Okay.
In the arms of the angels.
God, that was a manipulative commercial. I have a marital grievance with that commercial.
What do you say? Do you want to get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, take it away.
All right. So we open on a little latchkey kid. Well, I guess he's not a latchkey kid. He doesn't appear to have a key to his home at all. And he's waiting at the terrifying playgrounds of our youth where there were no safety precautions of any kind. And they were all metal and gravel and probably glass.
Did you play on that gyroscopic merry-go-round thing?
I'm sure that I did, but like I don't recall having constant access to one.
We had one at our nearby park, Gurman Park. It was just down the block from where my best friend at the time lived when we were kids. What I remember most is we would get a bunch of us on it. We would all pile onto one end of it. We weren't evenly dispersed. And there was always some, I guess the word would be vagrants, some guy that shouldn't have been hanging out with kids at the park who we would convince to spin us on it.
Yeah.
And he would get us going so fast. We all got sick to our stomachs. And then one by one would fling off and skid out into the gravel. And then we would get up, dust ourselves off and do it again. And we would do this for hours. That was my childhood.
Was it so? And again, I'm about to ask a stupid question. Parents, were there any about of any child?
When I grew up, you just left the house.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you came back when it was time to come back.
I actually take that criticism back because I think more kids should just leave the house and have to go figure it out, how to have an enjoyable day and how to not get kidnapped or spun about by vagrants, which apparently Eric and his friends did not learn.
Well, we were always in a big group though. So I don't think there was much danger. He would have had to snatch 9 or 10 kids.
Yeah.
So
that would have been tough.
I feel like this was probably just a guy who was coming out of a hangover or killing time before he could start drinking again.
That makes sense.
But yeah, it was weird. Like looking back on it, I was like, I would not want my kids to hang out with any of the guys that spun us on the merry-go-round.
No. So. And I also think my most traumatic playground was just like how we just said, let's have hot metal slides. Like, let's do that. And let's just let kids absolutely melt themselves.
Just
down
lose
to
layers
the
of
bone.
Skin on the way down.
Yeah. And we all were just kind of like, fun. Like, It's insane.
And metal monkey bars with now they have like the rubber foam.
Yeah, we
mats
just
under
had
this.
what did we have? We had like wood chips, splinters. We had splinters as
we just
flooring.
had alley gravel.
Alley gravel.
Like it was just broken up little sharp rocks that would get stuck in your knee, in your shin.
So that's what this kid is up against, and that is the various playground accoutrement is not the only thing out to kill him.
Yeah, he needed a group of 9 friends. Frankly.
Because here comes creepy Drusilla. Run and catch, the lamb is caught in the blackberry patch. That's how she talks.
I love your Drusilla. Although Kim would tell you from last week if you watched
that I moved my mouth too much.
You were moving your mouth way too much.
Yeah, I
Drusilla.
was.
She's a ventriloquist.
So she's being all creepy at this kid who is trying to, remember his stranger danger lessons. He's doing okay.
Well, he says he's not allowed to talk to people.
Right.
Not
I was like,
strangers. He's not allowed to talk to any people.
Yeah, I was like, I think you missed the relevant part of that lesson, but
you're also speaking this at once. So.
Right. And she says, well, good thing I'm not a person. What's it going to be like when your mom finds your body? Dark. But Angel comes to save the day. My angel, she says. And he says, hello, Drusilla. And tells the kid to run along smartly. He does. But boy, does he have a story for his friends the next day.
He doesn't get the full details, though. He just knows there was a pretty but strange woman singing to him with an accent. And the big hunk of burning something shows up and told him to F off.
Honestly, I don't even know if this kid is cleared that it's hi, I met a ghost yesterday. I don't think the kid really knows what's happening. So we are seeing Angel kind of be like, get out of here. Like, you're causing problems. I'm not going to try and kill you right now, but like, I need you to skedoodle.
Yeah, he's giving her a bit of grace, a bit of consideration, hinting at a history between them. She says, you remember my mom used to sing to me. So clearly they've known each other in the past.
And she actually says, you can't hurt me anymore, which suggests that he was once hurting her. And he definitely he bows his head. Like he's guilt is splashed upon his face. Drew immediately knows with all of her visions that he's tied up with the Slayer, that he's got a whole thing with the Slayer because your heart stinks of her. I promise Drew doesn't talk that much more in the episode. I'm just really trying to milk it while she's here.
The accent's great. The voice is great. So more, please.
So as this conversation is happening, where like Angel is just kind of trying to placate the crazy person while also getting her to go away and not eat children, we see that Buffy is up atop a roof and she sees Angel talking to a strange woman very intimately. Yeah, and it does look intimate. Like this would send at 16, this would send me into a tailspin.
And they're definitely like close talking. Yeah. They're right up in each other's mouths. It almost looks like Drew might try to kiss him at one point. But this show didn't invent this, but this show does a thing here that I find exhausting, which is she's going to see a thing, Buffy. She's going to jump to a conclusion. She's not going to ask him about it. And then we spend the rest of the episode waiting for her to learn what we already know. And I just feel like I've seen this so many times. I would rather we skip it or do something else with it. I think this is a tired trope.
I completely completely agree with that that's like a very specific sort of writing trap that there are ways to avoid. It just made me think of something, though.
What's that?
Intellectually, how do you watch Romeo and Juliet?
On streaming, probably.
No.
I don't understand the question.
That like the entire premise of the story is that we know something that another character does not. And we're waiting for that character to find it out. Like, I know that in that instance, it's like a device, but like, does that make you itchy as well when it's a story like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to remember my reactions to watching Romeo and Juliet. So I don't recall my feeling about that specifically. I wish I had a better answer, But that is sort of like high art dramatic irony, and it's kind of what the story's about in a way. I
So
don't
what
know.
you're saying, and that's what I think I was alluding to. It's like, it's one thing if it's dramatic irony, but you're saying that like if it's done because the writers just kind of didn't put scenes in the right order.
Well, no, I think they did this deliberately. I think they did a lazy thing deliberately.
Okay.
Now, you had said at 16 this would have sent you over the edge, and it might be that at 16 Buffy doesn't have it in her to confront Angel.
Yeah.
But the fix would then be, as fun as it was to watch that scene with Angel and Drusilla, just be in Buffy's POV at the start of this. She sees Angel talking to Drusilla, but we don't know what they're saying.
Right.
So now we're in Buffy's shoes. We go, that's suspicious as fuck. What do we do? Then it doesn't bother me as much that she doesn't confront him. We're churning the same way that she is, because when he pulled the Angelus fake out in School Hard, I was pretty sure he was putting it on, but there was a part of me that didn't know for sure. And that was tense and that was interesting. So I feel like the way to get out of this is we cut that conversation with Angel and Drusilla. Buffy sees them. And then we're wondering with Buffy, what the fuck's he talking to her about?
Yeah. Once again, this is my plea for the powers that be to hire my husband.
That little poetry. That was great. So, and this kind of thing's going to come up throughout this episode where we learn things and then we're just waiting for the characters to learn what we've already known. And I'll point those out as we go. Cause I feel like with a couple little snips, this good episode could have been a fucking great episode.
Yeah. So we got to figure out who this chick is. And Buffo is passing notes in class. Is she a vampire? Check yes or no.
Maybe.
Xander then catches up with Buffo after class. He cannot contain his excitement that Angel is fucking up. As they're, talking about what they're going to do tonight, a high school boy that we've never seen before comes up behind Buffy, and they clearly know each other. This is her friend Ford from Los Angeles, who she's known since 5th grade. She then says,
Ford wouldn't give me the time of day. I moped over you for months, sitting in my room listening to that Divinal song, I Touch Myself.
And then she says,
of course, I had no idea what it was about.
Buffy and Summers, what didst thou think it was about? I ask thee.
Is it just one of those things where you just listen to the vibe and you don't really clue in the lyrics? But
when
it wasn't subtle.
I think
it wasn't
about
subtle.
you, I touch myself.
Willow also seemed baffled that this was the meaning of that song. She learned something in real time.
Oh my God, that was really cute. Yeah, and she learns it very late into the conversation as we're about to exit the scene. It was classic Buffy timing humor of that, which I loved. So they're at the Bronze now. And I initially was not happy about Willow's shirt that she was wearing, but then we saw it close up and I revoked my ire.
After further review, the ruling on the field is reversed.
Angel is there and Buffy is being really awkward. Like the whole, I felt for her in this moment where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so desperately in love with this dude, but we haven't had the talk about what we are. And so you're so afraid of calling them out on who is that girl? And the worst fucking response you could possibly get from that. And the thing that's so scary is that they go, none of your business. What does it matter to you?
You're not the boss of me.
I can totally understand why she's just fine, nothing. I'm totally cool.
But she does sniff around it and asks him, well, what'd you get up to last night?
Yes. And he does lie. She knows that he is in fact lying because he said I stayed in and read.
You were deceptive on that.
Now, imagine if we as the audience didn't know that his interaction with Drusilla was him being a good guy.
Yeah.
We would have this much more to wonder. What is he hiding?
Yeah.
Now we're on the journey with Buffy and we're as suspicious as she is. I feel like that could have been so much more exciting than us kind of going, well, why is he lying?
She's missing the, yeah.
Why is he lying when we know it was innocent and what, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Just could have cleaned that up, tightened that up a little bit. I think it would have, again, turned a good episode into a great episode.
Right. Buffy brings her own weapon to the boyfriend fight and introduces Angel to Ford. And he is immediately jealous.
He has a funny line when they meet. They shake hands. He's like, cold hands.
Cold hands. And Xander just says,
You're not wrong.
so Buffy asks Ford to take a walk, and Buffy asks Ford to take a walk with her, not just like take a walk. So then, Angel is weird. Willow tries to engage Angel, but he's gone. We're now walking with Ford Duffy or bored. He immediately is like, is that your boyfriend? And she does exactly. Yes, no, I don't know. I am, I'm awkward. Then she hears an attack and of course has to be like, look over there, and run down the other way to go deal with vampires and hopes that Ford doesn't pick up on what's happening. But he does come around the corner and catches her slaying a vampire and just is like, so you're the Slayer? Cool. I knew the whole time. So Buffy is now telling Willow about Ford, and she's actually kind of relieved. Like, it's just one less person that she has to keep secrets from, which I get.
Yeah.
She clearly wants this person to
be in her life
and,
maybe become a Scooby.
Yeah. We now cut to Ford. And you weren't a fan of this reveal either, which you can talk about.
Okay.
We cut to Ford, and he's going to a secret club.
Speakeasy of sorts.
Yeah. We see a welder doing something weird to the door handle, which ends up being Chekhov's door handle, which we'll talk about later.
It caught me as weird. It's like they couldn't schedule that work. Like when the place is closed.
Yeah.
But we needed to see it.
It appears to be vampire cosplay night, where the only rule is that you can only get your attire from Spirit Halloween. By the way, side note, everyone, so sorry. House business. I found like the perfect Nadja dress for Halloween that isn't $1 billion. Let's be Nadja and Laszlo for Halloween.
You've said
Great, you've decided. You heard it here first, folks.
Well,
Yay.
You've said this for years, but unfortunately, the timing is bad because I've just lost almost 50 pounds. I don't think I want to go as a big fat guy for Halloween this year.
Nandor
Nadja? Is
Colin Robinson. He wants to go as Colin Robinson. Okay. Yeah, you can go as Colin Robinson. Perfect. Great. It's decided. Okay.
To be continued.
So we learned that Ford is like leasing this weird warehouse speakeasy.
Or his buddy is anyway.
Because
his buddy's like, I'm out on a limb here.
Yeah. And his buddy's name is Marvin, poor thing.
But he's got a vampire code name.
Diego. Come on, it's Diego now.
He should have stuck with Marvin. Marvin was Eric's grandfather's name. R.I.P. Marvin. Ford then he's kind of having an argument with like Marvin and this girl who's named after a mushroom.
Portobello.
Yeah. Shiitake. Marvin and Mushroom are like, is it happening? Like, we're so excited for whatever you have planned. Ford is getting kind of agitated and ends up needing to take pills for clearly some pain that he's having in real time. But I will say that Ford is definitely like, he's giving Arch a little bit in this scene. Like, we're like, ooh, Ford is not the sweet, innocent buddy of Buffy that he's been presenting. And then he actually starts, like, there's a vampire movie playing, and I want to trivia crypt this, what movie it is.
Right,
that
I didn't know off the top of my head.
But he's like mouthing the words to it. We're getting a sense that he's preoccupied, obsessed, like will do anything for something. We don't know what that something is.
Yeah, and is this where he has the line too where he's like,
a couple more days and we'll get to do the two things every American teen should have the chance to do. Die young and stay pretty.
I thought it would have been more poetic for the show if his line was actually, we'll have the opportunity to do what every teenager wants, loves, deserves, whatever it is, to die young and live forever.
Yeah.
I think that would have been,
I agree,
a way better line than
sustained.
Yeah. I'll allow it because it was sustained, but don't you ever touch my gavel without my permission ever again. Thank you so much. Angel now shows.
Well, can I lodge a thought about this scene here.
Sure.
Maybe could talk about it more when it comes up, but I don't feel like we need this reveal here. It's too early in the story because we have a few things that are about to happen. Angel's going to be suspicious of this guy because he's jealous. Eventually, they're going to chase down this same speakeasy and go in and learn basically all the same things that we just learned here. I think this show would work better if we cut this scene entirely.
Oh, hired. Can judges hire people for other projects?
Sure, why not?
Cool.
So just keep that in mind as we get through it, and I'll kind of build the case as we go. But
Okay.
I think we don't need this scene at all.
Okay. So Angel shows up at Willow's room. She's so adorable that I almost didn't notice the fact that inexplicably, for the first time in the history of the show,
Right.
she's wearing like bright red lipstick, like the color that I'm wearing. While she's like clearly been like woken up from going to bed. She's
Or at
in
least
her
getting ready for
pajama.
bed,
Yeah,
yeah.
like she's getting ready for bed.
With a full beat mug.
It was so strange. She looked adorable, but
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, and basically Angel comes in and he's like, listen, straight up, I'm jealous. I've perfected my brooding skills and Buffy has fucked that all up and now I'm a lovesick Puffy. I've screwed it all up and now I'm a lovesick puppy. That being said, my spidey sense is spideying about Ford. I need you to be the net girl and look him up. And Willow is apprehensive, but then immediately finds something weird, which was almost my favorite line, where she's like,
But if there isn't anything weird, hey, that's weird.
we learn that there is no record of him being enrolled at Sunnydale High.
She does offer a little bit of plausible deniability in that, well, it could just be that there's a delay in the records transferring. But again, I say, like, we already know Ford's up to no good by the time we get to this scene. So we're just kind of piling on stuff that we know. We're waiting for the characters to know. If you cut that speakeasy scene earlier, then by the time Willow finds this out, our suspicion is peaked, but we don't know anything for sure.
I agree.
So I feel like cut that speakeasy scene earlier. And this is our first clue that something's amiss with him, but it's not concrete enough to go on.
Right.
I feel like it would have prolonged this mystery, would have made this whole story more interesting.
I'm loving watching this episode that Eric is laying out. Next day at school, Willow is so awkward trying to interact with Buffy and Ford in a way that does not immediately give away that she has a secret knowledge that they don't know about. And it just reminded me of any time Eric has bought me a gift or had a secret or anything that I'm not supposed to know. It's so apparent immediately where I'm just like, can we just cut the charade and you just tell me whatever it is?
I hate having secrets. I also try to give her Christmas present starting about December 3rd.
Truly. And I'm like, I actually would love to have some presents to open on Christmas Day. Call me crazy.
Although the one secret I was able to keep was the months of planning for the proposal. I flew you to Orlando, took you to Harry Potter World.
Yes.
Took you out to dinner, managed to pull that off. But I think that was it for my life. I think I used up all my secret keeping.
And you also did have to tell my best friend and then Kim and then allow Kim to tell her roommate. Like, so you did have to let the pressure off.
Yeah, you tell
bit.
somebody, but I kept it from you.
Willow blames her weirdness on having had coffee at all. And I just was like, God, I remember those days when caffeine had any effect on me other than just keeping me at status quo sans headache.
Yeah, I had to go get blood drawn earlier today. And so I had to fast until I got there. I couldn't have coffee in the morning. And I felt whatever the tired equivalent of being hangry is.
Yeah.
I could not function.
Yeah.
I'm a full-on addict. It was crazy.
Caffeine is a drug, everyone. And we're just all addicted to it, except for Willow. Giles then comes up and is trying to be cryptic because Ford is standing there saying, like, I'm going on a date with Jenny, but if you have any library crises, here's Jenny's beeper thing. Buffy puts him out of his misery and is like, he knows. Giles, rightly so, not knowing who Ford is like, is this a cute boy that you're trying to impress with your Slayer powers? And she's like, no, he found out. So now we're walking through Sunnydale. Buffy's like, giving Ford a tour of their little town. Ford's shirt is too big, which is the thing that we're doing in these last couple episodes. Not a single, she apparently didn't take him on a tour to the tailor of Sunnydale. No tailors in Sunnydale. They then see some vamps scuttling away. She hands Ford a cross, and he ends up having brought his own stake. Yeah. So he's definitely like a super fan of the Slayer. She fights one of them off. She kind of like jumps away from Ford and the other vampires, so she's out of earshot. And Ford, and I know what you're going to say about this one too. I'm picking up on it. We see Ford grab this very distinct vampire, a woman with like white blonde long hair. Okay.
And dressed very cool and like head to toe leather. She looks like she was in one of those 80s metal bands like Vixen or something.
Yes. Or like one of the gang in Lost Boys for sure.
And it's she stands out because so many of the vamps on the show look like characters from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
And she like looks really cool.
Yeah.
Like, you believe she would hang
You're
out
like,
with Spike.
oh, she was supposed to be a vampire. Her face can support that level of bumpitude.
It's a tough thing to pull off because she's still hot.
Yeah.
Even though she's full bumpy.
Yeah, it was impressive. Ford gets the vamp on the ground, and rather than staking her, the last interaction we hear of them is, tell me what I want to know and I'll let you go. Buffy then pops back up, having dusted her vamp, and Ford is in the same position that we last saw him, no vampire. Buffy, understandably, assumes that the vamp has been dusted. We technically don't know. We don't know if the vamp told him what he wanted to know.
But he says he dusted it.
He says, I dusted the vamp. And he even gives like a little like cough.
Like he inhaled some of her.
Which I love, because why wouldn't you? Of course you would inhale vamp dust.
It had the effect of like when you call in sick to work, and so you got to make yourself sound extra sick.
Yeah.
Now, again, what I'm saying here is if we lose that little bit of conversation between them, and all we know is she runs up and he goes, I dusted that vamp.
Mm-hmm.
We're only a little bit suspicious of him at this point. And then when that same vamp that Buffy saw shows up in the library, that's like a
spoilers.
That's what we're doing here. But later, when she goes, we're learning at the same time Buffy is. If we hold off that conversation, we did just a little snip. Then by the time that happens, we're learning at the same time she is, and we're along for the ride.
Yeah.
I feel like just a few little touches could have really put this over the top.
I agree. Xanagel, they head to the vamp speakeasy sponsored by Spirit Halloween. Mushroom immediately walks up to them and is very, boy, oh boy, oh boy. For someone who watches a lot of cult documentaries, Mushroom is in every single one of them. That sort of like lost soul,
true believer,
a true believer that is actually like coming from a place of like very wounded kindness, is just prime target for cults. So like this was actually a great portrayal of this very specific type of person that gets sucked into cults.
Right.
And she says, she spews some nonsense about how vampires are misunderstood. They don't want to hurt us. And she refers to them as the lonely ones.
Right.
And I'm just like, if they don't want to hurt us, who does she think they're eating? Who does she think they're biting? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who does she think they're biting?
I don't think we get a full mental map of what her idea of a vampire is.
Right.
I think that she definitely is feeling like, she says they're exalted, they're above us.
True.
Like, and the food chain certainly.
Yeah.
And Angel is not having any of it.
Yeah, and he calls her a fool straight to her face. And she breaks my heart again, where she doesn't even get mad at Angel. She's just like, just because somebody has a different opinion than you doesn't mean that you're wrong. And I'm like, sometimes it does. Sometimes your opinion's wrong.
I wish modern day cult members were this sort of
Kind.
mousy and demure
Yeah.
when confronted with how stupid they are.
Yeah, truly. Yeah. Xander and Willow are kind of like, Angel, like, we're trying to get information. You can't just alienate everybody. He talks about how ridiculous this whole thing is. Why are they dressed like this? We don't dress like this. And then someone in his exact outfit comes down the stairs. It was a
It's
mwah.
great moment.
Comedic chef's kiss. Marvin Diego
Mhm.
and somebody else, not
Just some
Mushroom,
girl.
some girl, overhear this conversation.
But I'm still curious why Ford, the bestest friend of the Slayer, is hanging with a bunch of vampire wannabes.
And so that piece of information catches his ear. Now, here's what I'll say. If we cut that earlier speakeasy scene,
Mhm.
we don't really learn anything new in this scene. Xander, Willow, and Angel do. So if we held off Ford's involvement in this whole vampire cult to here,
Mhm.
after his records don't transfer, after he dusted the vampire off screen, supposedly, now we're building a case towards something. And now we start to have a confirmation that this guy's not what he says to be. We shot our wad too early in this episode on that front. And then we're just waiting for our characters to catch up. Again, a couple snips, this thing would have been sublime.
Sustained and hired. So we cut to Buffy, who has called Giles with a J back to the library because she's like, okay, didn't mean to have a crisis, but there are vamps on campus.
And Giles couldn't be happier that this date got interrupted because
Jenny brought him. Listen, I love Jenny. I love Giles with a J. This was a misstep. If anybody ever tried to fucking take me to monster trucks, I would smash them like a monster truck. I do feel like I am you're the Jenny and I'm the Giles
I think
of our
for
relationship.
an experience just to go to it once. Like, I don't get the feeling that Jenny is like a hardcore monster truck enthusiast. I think she's like, this sounds weird. This isn't going to be a usual second date. This is going to be we're going to go in there and see, we're going to people watch. We're going to see something we've never seen before. We're going to commit to the energy of the moment and we're going to have a fucking blast.
I love that. I love the thought you put into that. I love the enthusiasm with which you tried to sell me on it. However,
it's definitely a no for me, dog.
Please don't take me to monster trucks. I'm good. And so is Giles. They're talking about the two vamps that, were on campus, and Buffy is talking about how kind of wild it is that Ford bagged a vamp.
Like his
first time out, and just seemed like chill AF about it. She then sees a pic of Drusilla.
Giles says this is a sometimes paramour
of Spike. And she's like, I saw her with Angel. So now Giles is obviously like, who's on first, right? Like, who's the bad guy? What's happening? That kind of thing.
And again, if we didn't hear what the conversation was earlier, we might be, and we
a
saw
little concerned.
Angel dissemble about it. Yeah.
At that moment, a very familiar blonde-haired, cool-looking vamp busts out from inside Giles's office with a book in her hands and flies out the window.
And this is the vamp.
Buffy recognizes this vampire and says, he said he killed it.
So imagine, again, if we didn't know that Ford was negotiating with her, now we're just getting revelation on top of revelation on top of revelation, and it's all hitting us and Buffy at the same time. Would have been so much more fun. I feel like I'm harping on the point. I just feel like this is the way to write this and to really sell it, unless they just felt like they had to dumb it down because this is for people who weren't really paying attention. Like, this is before people were on their phones, though. People used to watch
People paid
television
attention.
and paid attention to shows.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like this is a stronger take on the same story, just a few little alterations.
Yeah, I think it was just they didn't do the Arik pass.
Much like Ford's shirt, we just need someone to take it in a little bit here and there.
Yeah, but there's no Ariks in the writer's room, and there's no Taylors in Sunnydale. The age-old adage.
A tale as old as time.
Yeah, a Taylor as old as time. Cut to Drew trying to get a dead bird to sing.
They make her so fucking weird. It's
Creepy.
so cool. Like,
yeah.
I think this character, in my first watch, I don't remember her making this much of an impact on me. I think she's one of the coolest, most interesting characters on the show.
She didn't make this much of an impact on me when I first saw it, for sure. I think her strangeness, and I do sometimes, this isn't even like a dig, this is just how it is. And frankly, I wish that we had more of this. Like, her face is very strange looking. And I think I spent a lot of time just fascinated by how strange she looks.
You always say that, and I know she's odd, but I think she's like gorgeous. Like, she's conventionally
I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. Okay. And I'm also like on it. You don't even know about this. I won't bore you with it, but I'm on a tear right now where like I miss different faces. I'm really annoyed at like how much the sort of entertainment industry, which has then spilled over into society, where like all women's faces look the same. And it's like, you go to, I promise I will get off this soapbox in 1 second. Just give me a moment.
Take your time.
You go to a Botox esthetician, someone who does Botox and fillers. And what will happen, you okay, Ethel? What will happen is they will tell you how to like fix your face to basically make it match like this golden ratio that we have. But that means you're creating just this homogeny of faces.
It's like what they used to do at a hair salon, where you'd go in and point to a picture and they would give you that haircut. Now you're going in and pointing to a picture and they're giving you that face.
Yes. And like, I'm not talking about having like a specific insecurity about your face. It's like people going in and doing exactly what you're saying right now. So I think I have an appreciation for her in a whole other way, where I'm just like, oh my God, what a weird face, in a good way.
Okay.
But I think I'm able to like appreciate her now from a different perspective, maybe just being older.
Yeah. I just think as a character, she's the only person on the show doing what she does. She's in her own lane.
And I don't know of anyone else. I can't think of another actor from that time who I would cast to do this.
No, I think she's fantastic.
And I think I think she doesn't make the obvious choice.
And her and Spike is the 1-2 punch.
It's so great.
Such great villains.
So speaking of her,
such an improvement over the Master and Steve Jobs Jr., right? Like as a first.
Why did you even have to remind me?
To appreciate what we have now.
Fine. Spike comes in and he's cross with her because he found out that she was walking about last night and trying to eat children off of playground equipment. And he's like, you're not well. And she says, my tummy was growling and you were out. And he's like, did you meet anyone? Anyone whose name perhaps rhymes with Fangel?
What I loved is that he does the thing that I wanted Buffy to do. He's like, he doesn't beat around the bush. He just goes in, hey, did you see Angel last night? Like,
yes.
He just really like right out with it.
So he wants to know what they talked about. Spike scolds her because she's still fixated on this dead bird. He scolds her for the bird being dead because he's like, if you don't feed the bird, it's going to die and I'm going to have to get you another one. And she...
And he's very parental with her. It's definitely the kid who doesn't take care of their first goldfish and it dies, and you have to like give them a talking to about, you got to feed it and take care of it if you want it to live.
It is very parental. It's And James Marsters, he gives her like a kiss at one point that I was just like, beautiful acting moment. Ford shows up. This fucking guy. And Spike has the same kind of response to him of like, how the fuck did you get in here? But I'm almost amused that you've gotten in here. And he says, did we finally find a restaurant that delivers? What did I call it? Ford Dash.
I said Vamper Eats.
Vamper Eats, yeah. The blonde vamp is there. And she then hands Spike the book that she stole. And we learn that Ford wants Spike to turn him into a vampire, and they're going to make a trade. You turn me into a vampire after I brought you the Slayer. Buffy is sulking in her kitchen. Angel comes to our beloved back kitchen door and knocks and says, "Can I come in?" And she says, like, "Yeah, like you're not blocked." And he says, "No, I was just being polite."
That was such a great moment.
Such a great moment. And he says, "We need to talk." And he just comes out and says it and says, "Ford's not what he seems." Buffy says, "Okay, you're going to confront me about Ford. I'm going to confront you about Drusilla. Who this bitch be?" she say. And Angel gets really somber. And he's like, "I didn't want you to know the truth because it definitely reveals how evil I was before I was re-ensouled." What we learn about Drusilla's backstory is genuinely fucked up.
It is harrowing.
It's really fucked up. And, you know, we think that the worst thing about vamps is that they, you know, bite you and or you're dead or vampire. Like that's the thing. Angel talks about that he first made her insane, tormented her to the point of insanity,
killed all of her family members.
She was so tortured and tormented that she fled to a convent. He waited until she took her holy orders, which if you remember from My Beloved Sound of Music, it's not like you get there and they're like, "Want to take your orders?" Like it's
months of,
if not years, like years of like, "Do you want to do this? Do you want to commit yourself to God? I don't think you're ready yet. Am I ready?" Like
it's manual labor.
Yes, it's intense. The day she takes her fucking vows is when he turns her.
So fucking dark.
Truly so dark. Like so dark. That it's one. I mean, I love this show.
And it reminded me of the thing we talked about with Saint
Vigius.
Where it was like, we try to go imagine how did a saint become a vampire. This is actually a version of that. You waited for this person to become a nun, and oh my God.
Yeah. So, you know, Buffy is taking this in, and Angel says, "Okay, but enough of that. Ford worships vampires. You know, like the vampire I just described you I was, he worships them." We then see that Ford is like watching? Ford watching? Question mark. Was he watching?
We have an outside the window shot that feels very kind of Peeping Tomish.
Like, okay.
But I don't know that we confirm that Ford is there.
That must be why I have a question mark next to it.
Okay.
So we then...
Well, there's a big reveal happens in that scene that you've just glossed over.
Oh my God, what was it? What did I miss?
Angel asks, "Do you love me?"
That's right.
And she says,
"I love you, but I don't trust you," which is huge.
Right.
Huge. Thank you. I completely forgot about that. I was so
wrapped up in the whole story.
Yeah, like it was, you know, and difficult to hear that story and then have that guy be like, "So in closing, do you love me?" That's a tough one. And she's clearly struggling with it. So the next day at school, she sees Ford, and there's definitely this like cool camera work where like we are creating some real tension in the way that we're using the camera, which I don't think the camera work is bad. The cinematography in the show isn't bad, but we don't often see the camera being one of the characters.
Right.
And it was fun.
And his performance, he's definitely more sinister. He's playing it a little more arch.
Yeah. And he asks if she wants to go out again tonight to hunt. And he says that he wants to take her to a secret place. She agrees. Let's go to the Vamp Club. Mushroom is there, and she's very excited because she's like, "Will they bless us?" She's so delusional. It's so sad. Where's her family? We'll learn later. You don't even know where her family is.
No, that's not in this episode.
No, it's not.
So we get more Portobello?
I don't know. Marvin asks Ford, "Are your friends coming?" Buffy appears. And this is where we have the big, you know, villain telling his plan to the hero. He wants to be a vampire. Buffy immediately realizes what the plan was, that he was going to offer her as a trade, that this is a trap. Ford then coughs in a way that is not the cough of a 16-year-old boy.
Right. And it's not the cough of pretending you inhaled vamp dust.
Yes. And she realizes that the trap is already happening. This is it. And we learn why the welder was there, because now the door is closed, and Ford tells us the door can only be opened from the outside, so no one gets out of here alive. I don't know why I wrote this, but I just wrote Chanterelle is the worst. I just take your pick. She's the worst. She's annoying. She's an annoying cult person that's just too dumb and sweet to be alive. They're now kind of like up on a balcony where like they're out of earshot, though, as you pointed out, they're talking very loudly.
Yeah, they're not. There's no solo voce happening here. They are, in fact, speaking in their outside voices.
Yeah, but Ford admits that he's not particularly concerned with all of these other people that think they are also going to be vamped. That it's really about him, and it's because he has a secret, which is a brain tumor. And so he is panicked and doesn't want to die, understandably, and says, here's a loophole I found. If I'm a vampire, I can't die.
Buffy's
and
like,
Buffy points out, she's
you don't
like,
get to be a serial killer just because you got cancer.
Exactly. And Buffy says, I'm so sorry you have brain cancer, but I'm faux show going to kill you myself if I have to.
Right.
Like, I can't let you do this. This is the first instance. So once we get to season 7, Buffy's burden and how lonely it makes her is a gigantic theme of the show. It's pickled in the early seasons, because the early seasons are mostly about how she is kind of defying the stereotype of a Slayer in that she has community and a support group. But her loneliness and her being the one who has to make these hard decisions as a 16-year-old is pickled in there very fucking early.
Oh, yes.
You know, where she's like, this is her best friend who is dying of brain cancer, making a horrible choice and like clearly not processing it well. But like any human person can be like, first of all, the emotional toll of having a brain tumor. And then also, what is the physicality of the tumor doing to his brain that's making him potentially like make these really sort of Machiavellian, sociopathic, serial killery choices, which I just thought of right now.
Yeah.
That's a difficult thing to do. And Buffy's like, cool. And I don't get to take literally any of that into consideration. It is just my job to kill him. That blows.
Yeah, no, and it's also like you talk about, she does have a chosen family. She does surround herself with support, but even in that structure, the cheese stands alone.
Yeah.
She's still the only one with this burden. She's still the only one with this responsibility. She's still the only one who can make these calls.
Right. I think I said this in like earlier, like definitely in season 1, that like I've seen these so many times that they become, at least for me, like, oh yeah, the plot, that one where her friend Ford wanted to be a vampire, that one. When I'm watching it with like the need to like tell the story
break it down,
like these episodes are the themes of these episodes are so much better than I gave them credit for initially. She sort of tries to tell all the people downstairs to like stop being dumb. Ford then pushes her down the stairs. Spike comes in, sees Chanterelle. Mushroom is immediately terrified. This really broke my heart. Like she had never encountered a vampire. She'd literally only fantasized about them, read the fanfic, and now faced with one, the terror was really heartbreaking. And so he immediately bites her, and we're like, deuces for Mushroom.
That's a wrap on her. Or is it, apparently, because you talk about, we get a Shiitake sequel at some point.
We do. Buffy knocks Ford out. We have a fun fight. Great fight. All the things are happening. Buffy then has to sort of like diffuse Spike. You questioned this in the live watch, and it just occurred to me why I think her plan worked.
Okay.
So it was a quick decision. I don't like it was the decision she had to make in that moment. She grabs Drew.
Right.
She holds Drew hostage. Okay.
Well, I'm fine with all this. Yeah.
And then she's like, stop what you're doing or I'll kill her. And you were kind of like, why not just kill Drew?
No, not there.
Okay.
Do everything she did.
Okay.
Spike downstairs.
Okay.
Let the people go.
Let the people go.
Then she gets right to the door and she shoves Drusilla down the stairs to Spike and locks them in. I don't see what the problem would have been of staking Drew and going out and locking the door.
Professor?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you and I have like a bird's eye view of the situation. I think in that moment, we're still only season 2 Buffy. Okay. She's just been knocked out. This is the character work that I would do if I was playing this role to justify this choice that I agree could bump someone. Here's how I justify it. She just got knocked out. She may not be fully like with it. If she kills Drew right then, okay, it is going to infuriate Spike. There are still a bunch of vampires there. I think for her, she's going, in this split second, I don't know if I can take all of these vampires. After I stake Drew, I take one vamp out and all of these vamps swarm me. Whereas if I push her towards Spike, he's immediately going to be distracted by that. I can run out the door, close them in.
I think that makes sense. I have 2 possible fixes.
Okay.
Since we're playing speculation. One is exit with her. Shut the door, stake Drew. Second, and I feel like this might be actually what they were going for, but there's nothing in the script to indicate this, so it would have been a nice touch. If something Drew says reminds her of how, if she had talked about Angel, she had mentioned Angel.
Of how he tortured her and she had a moment of like,
of guilt, sadness, saw her as a victim, gave her just a momentary hesitation. I think Drew could have done it to fuck with her.
All she, you
he
know,
smells like you or something.
No, all she'd have to do, I don't think that would get her. I think if Drew was like still in her fuckery stage. However, I think if Drew had gone, Spike,
I think it would need to tie to Angel, but I see what you're saying. If
she's a little girl, like she's she's tortured.
Right.
I think so. I think the whole scene, all in all, sustained. She then says to whoever's outside the door, the Scoobies, I can't remember.
Willow and Angel.
Yeah. Says we can come back when they're gone for the body, she says. Inside, they've all been locked in with Ford and Spike and Drew. Ford's like, listen, you fumbled the play, but like I passed you the ball. That's on you. So where's my reward? And Spike,
the ball's on his fucking kid.
yeah, right. And Spike, definitely just gives him a bumpy face stare. We don't know where that's gone, where that's gonna go. Cut to her at a tombstone later on, and Giles is with her, and a vamp busts up out of the ground. It's Ford. She dusts him, and his dust falls all over the bouquet of flowers that she placed on his headstone. I'm going to cry reading this bee. And then Giles and Buffy have a conversation where, again, Hank could never. Buffy says to Giles, does it get easier? Or does it get easy? And Giles says, what do you want me to say? And she says, lie to me.
Hey, that's the name of the show.
Giles then takes a deep breath and says, as he walks away, we hear it, as they're walking away together. Yes, it's terribly simple. The good guys are always stalwart and true. The bad guys are always distinguished by their pointy horns or black hats. We always defeat them and save the day. No one ever dies, and everyone lives happily ever after. And then we hear Buffy say, liar. Credits. Just
such a beautiful moment. My personal taste, because she instructed him to lie to me, We don't need the liar. I would have rather just let Giles's words hang at the end of the episode.
I hear you. I feel like I've had that exact conversation with my dad, and he's lied to me. Yeah. And it for those few seconds,
it works. It is a wonderfully beautiful way to end this story. I tell you, when he started to confess, when Forrest started to confess his cancer stuff, I wondered in that moment if he would in fact get turned and get to go live. And I almost wanted them to get to his grave. He's already come out. They have their conversation anyway. And then as they're leaving, Buffy sees him. They acknowledge each other and then he runs away.
I hear you, but I think that's not Buffy's job.
No, and she needed to have to kill a friend to set up.
And
it was a rite of passage.
And that ability to make that difficult black and white decision
is going to come up again.
And it is going to sometimes work and sometimes not. And that is going to be one of Buffy's biggest inner conflicts.
Yeah, no, a really great episode. The show creator wrote and directed it. There was some wonky, anytime the characters went to insult each other, it came out a little sideways, and we'll get to that in our yearbook superlatives, which I guess we can do right now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sunnydale High Yearbook Committee meeting now in session. Who'd you have for best line?
Best line, I had Spike saying,
well, didn't we finally find a restaurant that delivers?
I love that.
Same scene.
I know who you are.
Yeah, I know who I am too. So what?
That's such a you line.
Honorable mention.
That's it. I think we should gag her.
I think you should try.
Who'd you have for worst line?
It was Ford when he's talking to Marvin about his spirit Halloween vampire costume, which warrants ridicule for sure. I don't know if this line counts as ridicule rather than a line from a 1920s gangster movie.
You look like a big ninny.
It's not even 1920s gangster. It's from like The Little Rascals. You look like a big ninny?
Yeah, that was...
was this show made in 1998? Like, what is happening? That was stupid. Continue.
That was a contender for me as well. I had Xander saying to Angel...
Sure thing, Bossy the cow.
Bossy the cow?
When Angel's telling him, you go here, split up.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, he calls him Bossy the cow.
Is Bossy, is there a famous cow named Bossy?
There's a Bessie the cow, I think. Like, I didn't get it at all.
I'm so embarrassed.
Yeah, so anytime they try to insult each other, it did not land.
Yeah.
Who did you have for best dressed?
Best dressed, I love Xander's corduroy jacket in the bronze.
Okay.
I love that look.
Okay.
And it was like, you know, he clearly got it in a different town because it was tailored to a degree. Yeah.
I picked the blonde vamp who stole the book from the library. I just thought she was so fucking cool. Like, she's a character that doesn't get to do much, but definitely like made an impact.
Delivered. Yeah.
I feel like you almost want to get like the action figure of that
character.
Yeah. Who'd you have for worst dressed?
Worst dressed was Marvin's spirit Halloween vampire
Marvin
costume.
Diego, same.
Yeah.
What'd you have for best move?
Best move, Buffy when she's fighting the two campus vamps.
Yeah.
She does like a head kick where she's standing in front of the vampire and she does a high kick behind her.
Yeah.
That was great.
Bad. I loved that. Mine was her leaping up onto the catwalk to grab Drusilla.
Ooh, good
I thought
one.
That was really fucking cool. And then lastly, to close things out, who did you have for most likely?
I had a tie.
Okay.
They both go to Mushroom.
Okay, bring it.
First one is most likely to wear a vial of her boyfriend's blood. The second one is it's going to require some explanation.
Okay.
One of my favorite Facebook groups to follow is called That Name Isn't a Tragedy, It's a Murder.
Sounds like a Panic at the Disco song.
Yes, but tragedy is spelled TRAGEDEIGH. And murder is spelled MURGHDYRR. The entire Facebook group is people finding people who are naming their children something that should be illegal, be it based on the spelling or the word itself.
I think coming from Ketryn and Arik, maybe we aren't in a position to be making fun of people's names.
I encourage you to go to this group and I encourage you to see how tame, bland, pronounceable, and not abusive our names are.
Okay, fair.
Most likely to be featured in the Facebook group. That name isn't a tragedy. It's a murder, chanterelle, which means mushroom, which comes up later on.
I can't wait.
Yes.
That's what we call a tease back in the old country. I had most likely to have missed his calling doing magic at kids' birthday parties. Marvin. Diego.
Love it. Great. All right.
All right. So that was our show. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you've enjoyed this, please give us a like. Please subscribe. Please leave us a comment below. And if you're listening on a podcast app, write us a review. Give us 5 stars. Anything you do to interact with this just lets the platform that you're enjoying it on know to push it out to more people. It really helps us out a lot. It doesn't cost you anything.
And don't forget to sign up for our Patreon. It's just $5 a month, or else you don't want Ethel to have snacks.
That's manipulative as shit. Be sure to check out our other show while you're at it. Kim and Ket Stay Alive Maybe, co-starring her and Kim Burns, who guested last week. I produced that show. Comes out every Wednesday. They're on social media at KKSam Podcast. This show is on social media at Major Slayage Pod. And that's all we got. We will see you next Monday. Hopefully by then we can report that Wrexham won their first match of the season.
Woo!
And we'll be in a very, very good mood. But you'll know right away if that's the case or
we'll
not.
be wearing black veils.
And we're on tap for season 2, episode 8, which is called, do you know the name of it?
I don't remember.
I don't know what we're getting into, but hopefully it's great. And until then,
dust you later.